Welcome back, pizza people. Hope you've been keeping it cheesy. Hollywood Pizza here, and we've got some awesome coverage from Numbskull and Hamhocks42. This was our Slice of Alchemy event this past Sunday, April 10th. If you enjoy the content, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below. We have another event this coming Sunday as well, April 17th. That's the Set Championship Qualifier. It's going to be standard format. So definitely check out that link in the description below as well. And as always, I hope you stay cheesy.
Looking forward to
Of
this is our
course.
first opportunity to be in the booth together, and I gotta say, I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be fun.
Me too, man. I was humbled when I was offered the opportunity because, like, every Sunday I was like, okay, got to watch Pizza Box today while I'm at work. There's my entertainment while I'm at work, and then I admire you guys making all the calls, doing commentating, and it's a little bit surreal to be here. So I'm very thankful and very excited.
That's awesome, dude. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, where can folks find you on the internet? Like, go ahead and give some plugs out there. Where can people find you? What can they expect to find? Yeah, shameless plugs. I feel now's a great time for that.
So we have obviously Twitch, num_skull_. All the other Numbskull variations were taken. So,
hey, but you managed to do it without a number. Well done.
Yeah, I didn't have to do any numbers. That was clutch. But yeah, num_skull_ on Twitch. You can find me Numbskull on YouTube as well. If you just search like Numbskull MTG, I'll probably show up. But yeah, I have a couple YouTube videos, but mainly I'm on Twitch, stream every night, and we mostly play Magic the Gathering. Sometimes I play God of War, but mostly Magic the Gathering.
That's awesome, dude. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. And where can we find you, Hammer?
Oh, well, you can find me on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/hamhocks42. I was not successful in avoiding the number in my username. But yeah, hamhocks42. It is, well, and part of the nice thing about having a number, though, is I can stay consistent across all the platforms. So if you look up hamhocks42 on YouTube or AetherHub or anywhere, you'll find me. But I have a Twitch and YouTube as well. And it's all about the MTG. I stream in the mornings, though, on the weekdays. So yeah.
I learned that the one day when I did a stream for like 12 hours and it was like 6 a.m. and I was still streaming and I was like, who can I raid? And I was like, this guy Hamhocks, I'm gonna raid him. I've seen him on Pizza Box before. And that's like how we met. I remember that. So that was cool. But yes, I did learn that you stream very early. So
I stream in the early mornings, the wee hours of the morning. Yes. Is when you can find me. So if you're looking for Twitch content in the morning, I got you. If you're looking for Twitch content at night, Numbskull's got you. So yeah, between the two of us, we got your whole day covered.
I'll segue you into Hammer, and it'll.
I love it. Yeah. Good stuff. All right.
So we're still waiting on the first match.
Yep, we're still waiting for the first match.
Okay.
Let's see. Actually, it looks like it might be underway, unless I'm mistaken, which I may be. I often am. I'll be honest. All right, so we do have a game going.
Yeah,
it actually looks like you at home might have been able to watch it this whole time, and I'm looking like a little bit of a fool, but that's okay. All right, so here we are watching Mono Green versus Mono Green. All right, Battle of the Stompies. We're doing it.
Battle of the Green.
Oh yeah. You love to see it. So this is Jam.Pan, aka Michael Harvey, playing the Mono Green list, going up against FireOnIce. It's a very evocative name. I like that. But okay, here we are.
I do like that. This is an interesting play here. Do you play that as a land, or do you take their Ranger class? And it looks like he goes for the Cultivator.
All right, so here we have Forceful Cultivator versus Ranger class. At the end of the day, a 3/3 beats a 2/3, so that's that.
Yeah. It looks like he's leveling, but do they have a land FireOnIce? No. Okay.
Ooh, that's not where you want to be.
Maybe they do.
It's possible. Yeah, we're still in the main phase. I'm just watching that little dot. It's going to move over. Oh, there it is. It was a DFC, and they maybe were curious about, or maybe debating between multiple DFCs in their hand or something of that nature.
Okay.
But that'd be my guess.
There it is. Okay. Yep. So, I mean, still the mana advantage, and that's because of the Cultivator here for Harvey. So that's pretty good. The Oddity would be cheeky.
True. Yeah. So the Oddity coming down for a little bit of damage. There's nothing wrong with that. They choose to play the Turn Timber Symbiosis as a land, and no sense bolting that in because there's nothing you can do with the 1 mana. And now, because Harvey has the 5 sources, they can kick the Inscription of Abundance.
Yep.
So that could be a kicked Inscription of Abundance tends to lead to blowouts. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out here.
It's especially nice when you have a creature that has trample.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It feels so good. And the fact
and that creature being the oddity.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So FireOnIce has identified that they are on the defensive here. They play the Uvenwald Oddity, but hold it back to block. I think that's a smart play.
Okay.
However, the Inscription of Abundance is here.
However, it's about to get fought.
Oh yeah, it's about to get fought. Exactly. Yeah, so I have a feeling that Inscription of Abundance is going to be coming down, and that the Uvenwald Oddity on Fireside is not going to be long for this world. Here it comes.
I'm not a mono green player, but an interesting line would be play the Mammoth as a land this turn, and then do your Forest next turn. You could flip the Oddity after that.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't play much mono green. That's just what I was looking at. Ooh. So he fights it with to get more. Okay, sure, I like that.
Yeah, fight it with the Cultivator, and because the Cultivator does take damage in the exchange, so rather than risk it, you can hold it back. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And now you've got a 4/5 on the defensive. That's pretty nice. Like
yeah. Because then that stops. Even if they attack and get a counter, it doesn't matter. So there's probably no attack this turn.
Probably. Unless
they have a land and an Inscription, that would be interesting.
That would be very interesting. Yeah.
And maybe, you actually leave that one untapped mana open to bluff a Snakeskin or Tameo Safekeeping. So I could see the reasoning for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it makes good sense. All right, let's see what happens here. There's the Inscription. You called it. Ooh, but it's going after the Uvenwald Oddity.
Okay. I mean, they see 6 mana and you get a little nervous,
Sure. Well, the Uvenwald Oddity is what was ultimately pressuring their life total. So getting that off the board makes a lot of sense.
Agreed.
And they have no way of knowing that Harvey has another Inscription in hand. If only they did, though.
If only they did.
Ooh, the Tenacious Pup. All right.
Even if you did know, I could argue that you just want to get that off the field before they get to 7 mana if you have the opportunity.
Sure. Yeah, that makes good sense. And at this point, Fire has the upticked Ranger class and is just unable to use it, which is, for the last 2 turns, it hasn't been able to there haven't been any attacks. So that's just a 2 mana investment earlier on that's just going to waste, which you hate to see. Yeah.
The precariousness of on the play versus on the draw.
Oh my goodness. Makes such a difference.
Especially in an aggro mirror.
Oh yeah. And then here comes Invoke the Ancients. Get a couple bodies on board, which is nice, but there's still a 6/7 that they need to contend with.
Top deck another Inscription, maybe?
That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
One of these guys was running that newer damage spell, right?
Which one was that? Oh, Master's Rebuke, I want to say. I could
be Master's Rebuke. Yeah,
it looks like that's a one-of in Harvey's deck.
Okay.
Yeah, target creature control deals damage equal to its power to target creature planeswalker you don't control. It's just a straight. It's a one-sided. It's Rabid Bite, effectively. Yeah.
So no attacks here, and set up for next turn. Okay. Hold that land, sure. The Lair of the Hydra gives you priority.
Right.
So you don't even have to. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So the 2/4/5s definitely present a bit of an issue. But at the same time, Harvey's in a golden spot here because while both of those tokens have vigilance, they probably really don't want to be swinging here.
No, but it makes you wonder what's in their hand to make FireOnIce choose vigilance. Because if you have vigilance, that means you probably want to attack, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, part of it might be their life total because obviously they need to keep the blockers back. But at the same time, Trample could really be useful. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess if you have a way to deal with the Cultivator, then Trample is effective. But then I guess we'll see what they have.
Yeah, they're going for the attack. Ranger class is going to buff one of them. Okay.
They're doing a think.
Indeed. They may have an inscription or maybe a snakeskin back.
Yeah, I'm sensing battle tricks.
Yeah, there's got to be. Or they're just bluffing really hard. And if so, it's working.
Yeah. Harvey's, he's not. Same time though. So what are we at here? 6 lands, that would be 7. I mean, animating the lair, that's a thing too. Coming
there it
next
is.
turn.
Inscription before block. There's some trickery.
Yep.
That'll do the job. Because New Mammoth is going to take one for the team here.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to say Mammoth takes out the one with the counters then? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Do we even block with the pup?
Yeah. No,
at 28?
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't have. I'd probably take the 4, but
I think
Harvey thought it was worthwhile.
I would have too.
Yeah. All right, so there's the Ascended Pack Leader in hand. That's not nothing.
Yeah.
There's also an opportunity to uptick Ranger class. Yeah.
We see inscriptions from both players here then.
Yes. Yeah, Harvey's played 2. FireOnIce, I believe, has played 1.
Okay.
Goes for uptaking Ranger class to see a land on top. Ouch.
Oof.
That's always the worst when you unlock your library finally and there's just a land sitting there. Like, come on. Yeah, especially with with an ability like Ranger class that requires so much mana to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a little disheartening.
A little bit, yeah. And being able to play cards off the top of your library is a very powerful ability. So they tend to, those effects tend to be appropriately costed, and that's definitely the case with Ranger class. You can make an argument that the earlier abilities are pretty darn strong on that thing, and pretty efficient.
Just giving counters,
The counters are great. Yeah, absolutely. It makes a huge difference.
As primarily an Orzhov player, one of my favorite things to do is wait till they fully level it and then vanishing verse it.
Oh, that's so mean.
Just hold it. Just wait.
Yeah, hold. They're going to pay 4 to uptick it? Yeah, you are, but.
But.
That's so mean. I love it.
Yeah. I think this is where you don't block, because that pack leader can get bigger.
Yes, exactly. Especially if you can get a nice vein of creatures. Ooh, but that Turn Timber Symbiosis off the top is not what you want to see. I mean, this is Hydra time for sure.
Yeah. It's not really another play.
Right. It's just what you got to do. Because at this
point...
this
is where...
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is where the vigilance is coming in handy.
Big time.
We were saying, that's really working for them.
Yeah, for sure. The vigilance counters are clutch here. They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And if you're Harvey, you're actually not feeling too hot right now, because FireOnIce has, with that Invoke the Ancients, really turned this game around. And the Invoke the Ancients and a well-placed Inscription of Abundance really just stabilized things nicely. And there's a point just moments ago where FireOnIce was at 6. And Harvey had the dominant board presence, and that has shifted dramatically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like the way Harvey chose to put the counter on the pack leader instead of the lair, because then he forces like a double trade. But of course now he is creatureless.
Yep. So. Creatureless with an Uvenal Oddity coming off the top of the library. That's scary.
Oh dear. So basically it flips the board and advantage to FireOnIce now.
Big time. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Harvey still has the life advantage, but we all know how quickly that can dwindle. Yeah. And it's definitely going to take a hit here.
We're looking at what, 9?
And Luke Harbinger coming down. Oof. I mean, we're looking at what, 14 now?
Oh boy.
Yeah, Harvey flashed the good game. This is not looking good.
This is where you need that green board wipe that doesn't exist.
Exactly. the green board wipe that Spinning Wheel Kick really wants to be, but is just not quite there. Yeah. All right. So yeah, Uvenal Oddity is nice, but that is just cold comfort at this point. Yeah.
So is that what Symbiosis does? It's like just one though?
Yeah, you only get to take one creature, but if it has mana value 3 or less, I believe it might be 4 or less. It comes into play with some counters on it. Here, I want to make sure I get that right because it's one of those cards that I don't play very often. Yeah, look at the top 7 cards. Yeah, it's just one of those.
Harvey does have Orvar in the sideboard. There we go.
Oh, fantastic!
There
nice.
It is.
You'll love to see it.
No plans to cast it.
Yeah. Oh, of course not. Yeah. Even has the fancy artwork for it. You'll love to see it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. But yeah, I had a buddy. He sent me a deck. He said, "Hey, can you help me test? I'm playing a Gruul aggro deck tomorrow in day 2 of a tournament."
Okay.
And they were using the Symbiosis, and I was like, "What is that card?" And this was maybe a couple weeks ago, and now I see everybody using it, and it's I don't know. I guess it's effective, especially with Colossus or with Cultivator, I should say.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it makes sense. I think it enabling the Cultivator because it doesn't count as a land in your hand is really important. Yeah. And the fact that so many great threats in the mono green list cost 3 or less. Because the way it's worded is you may look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. And if that card has converted mana cost, a mana value 3 or less, it enters with 3 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So if you hit an Old Growth Troll off this, comes in as a as what, a 7/7 with trample. I mean, that's fantastic.
That's a big old troll.
So I mean, it costs 7 mana, but you get what you pay for in that situation. So absolutely. I mean, Werewolf Pack Leader also a good hit. It can pull a Nuvenwald Oddity, as we saw. I mean, so it's a curve topper in a game that has kind of gotten grindy. Like, it's a great way to rebuild after a board wipe, but it's not that great, which is I think part of the biggest reason why we haven't seen it as a staple in the mono green list up until now.
Yeah. I think, and maybe it's not tournament viable, but you could really cheat out some big green creatures with that, though.
Very true. Yeah. Very true. All right. So the Mammoth is coming in first, and they have the Lair of the Hydra and the Cultivator in hand. So as long as they don't, it's one of those, the Forceful Cultivator is weird. Yeah. Yep. Because in this situation, it's like, don't draw land, don't draw land, don't draw land. It's like,
I know, right? Yeah.
How weird is it to be on turn 2 and hoping not to draw a land with only 2 in hand?
And then, think about before this came in, how many people would have mulliganed that hand?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It really switches how you just approach the whole, and it almost makes your deck in a way mulligan proof,
Just about. And I do hate mulliganing, so maybe I need to give that card a try.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's not fun. I'd rather not do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Me personally, I think maybe I run it in Golgari, but
there you go.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Could definitely be interesting. All right.
Interesting sideboarding too, bringing in a Death Touch creature on the draw. That can be good.
Absolutely. No land drop, but another Forceful Cultivator.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So that gets you your land drop then, correct?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, sweet.
Now, unfortunately, it does come into play tap, so they can't double spell with the Werewolf Pack Leader or an Inscription, or the Ranger class for that matter. But this is going to tee them up for either a double spell next turn or Nuvenwald Oddity, or if they draw, if Harvey draws into another land, then there could be a kicked Inscription, which we've seen that do some phenomenal work.
Yeah, it's a powerhouse.
Oh, but because the Old Growth Troll died, went on the untapped land.
There's your ramp.
There's
so it's coming anyway.
Exactly. Yep. Beautiful.
Oh, man, and he can do that. Oh, there it is.
That troll is so good. My goodness. All right.
It really makes you think, like, do I want to kill this? I can kill it, but do I actually want to?
Right. Yeah. What's worse, this 4/4 beater or them getting more mana? Yeah, it really puts your opponent in a bind. Unless, of course, they're running Vanishing Verse, and then they feel fine. But yeah.
Well, yeah.
Card's amazing. Actually, okay, so as an Orzhov player who's running Vanishing Verse, how do you feel about new Capenna coming out?
Well, good thing there's Rite of Oblivion.
Yeah, yes.
But sorcery speed, that definitely makes a difference. It'll slow you down. It'll slow you down. But I think that I noticed that, you know, with new cards coming out, when they give you something so powerful with like all that multicolor stuff, they tend to almost in the same set give you an answer to it still.
Yes.
There's usually an answer. We haven't seen all the cards yet, so I'm kind of waiting to see what they give us. Hopefully as like some type of Easter egg for an answer, you know.
Yeah,
But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we still have some more cards
Mhm.
coming, so it'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, and FireOnIce has been really patient with that Death Touch creature,
Yeah.
waiting for a target that was worthwhile, and they found it in the Juvenile Oddity.
And let's see how they want to do this here. Counters go there. Okay, that's fine. So I guess it's somewhat of a tell if I'm giving you this oddity. Maybe I have another one, or maybe you just think, hey, I have to start swinging at some point because we're on turn 5 and 6, and you were still over 20 before I attacked.
Right.
So,
yeah, because I mean, aggro decks, they need to go aggro. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
You know, and
at some point you got to start turning the card sideways and making them do stuff.
Right. Well, and that's I think one of the things I find really funny is when I don't know if this is something I'm aware of in the kind of the general discourse. I don't know if it's, you know, I've seen it in my chat, I've seen it in others where people talk about a certain deck being easy, or I've heard of the expression brainless thrown around, and I could not disagree with that more. It doesn't matter what deck you're talking about.
No.
Like Magic is a complicated game. It's hard. Like, and so in, you know, it's like, so when you're playing an aggro deck, yes, you ultimately do want to play out a creature, turn it sideways, and hit your opponent in the face.
Sure.
But identifying how their blockers are lined up, how to spend your mana to curve out appropriately, there's a lot of nuance to it if you're going to be successful, especially when you're going up against an aggro deck like this. You know, in the mirror, this type of situation, it can be really difficult because one bad attack can completely take you out of the game.
Exactly. And we could even argue that that was a bad attack from FireOnIce just now. Now they're down to 4 on a backswing, you know. It's tough to think about, you know, when do I be aggro? When do I sit back? And there's different schools of thoughts. Some of us play it better than others.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, that's how it goes, right? And, there's a reason I'm in the booth. Let's just say it that way. But
and I guess maybe that's why I prefer the more removal heavy decks, because I just feel more comfortable attacking when it's just a completely open path.
Sure, when it's nice and clear. I get that.
You know,
I absolutely get that.
Then that way I don't have to think as much, you know?
Yeah. Well, because it's funny because, yeah, the variance, you know, or the skill really comes to, oh my goodness. I'm sorry. They're bolting in the turn timber symbiosis going down to 1. That additional mana, I mean, that gives them 5 mana. So this must be an Inscription of Abundance here. They have to kick an Inscription here. I can't see any other play, which would gain them 7 life, which is good.
If they choose the oddity, which I don't see why they wouldn't.
Right. And Harvey's not happy about this.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's a lot of life, and that means that makes a huge difference.
How much can you get in for here?
That's a good question.
I don't think I want to animate the lair. I wouldn't want to give him the lair just yet.
Right. I mean, I'm feeling the same. Because so if they uptick the Ranger class, they can put a +1/+1 counter on the Forceful Cultivator, but only if it attacks.
Yeah.
Or they can put it on the token. I was thinking the larger Forceful Cultivator there, but I mean either one.
Maybe you just go wide, but at the same time, on a backswing, if you're tapped out, the oddity is not dying this turn, and they have their own lair.
Yeah. And Harvey sees the issues and chooses to hold back rather than put the board in harm's way, which makes sense. You know, don't be the one who makes the bad attack. That's really where we're at. And that's, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, Harvey had what? Harvey did have 4 mana there. I guess could have elected to uptick the Ranger class one more time, but maybe wants to be able to animate the lair in case he absolutely has to.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he wants to make a troll on the end step.
Oh, could be. Yeah, that's definitely another.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Ooh,
So now you kind of have to make a troll.
Yeah, and so that's exactly what Harvey decides to do.
So I think this is where you uptick the Ranger class.
Yes, that would make sense. The other option is to animate the Hydra and go for a swing here.
Is that what he's okay?
That's what he's considering. Yeah, you just gotta, if you're taking the shot, you gotta jam all.
Just force the issue, basically.
Yep, absolutely. And spread the damage out. Yeah, spread the counters around.
Is it lethal? Math is for blockers, and I'm not blocking, so.
Well, and this is, if I were in Harvey's position, this is the moment where I would go, well, this is hard. I'm just gonna swing and hope. But I don't think that's what Harvey did. I think Harvey did the math here and sees it.
Okay. All right.
So like 4, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, this is lethal. This does represent lethal because at this point, the Werewolf Pack Leader can block the other 4 power Cultivator, but that is still exactly 8 damage getting through.
3, 3, and 2. Yep, there it is. Okay.
Well played. Wow.
Well done. Yeah.
That was intense. And that was game 2. So we are moving on to game 3 here in the top 8 of the Pizza Box.
Excellent. And that's where it speaks to your point about it's not mindless.
No.
It really it takes one mistake with a mindless deck can lose you the game. So it's not mindless.
Yeah. Well, and I've heard the same criticism against like more traditional control as well. It's like, oh, they just counter everything. It's like, no, actually, there's a lot of nuance to what you counter when you don't. You know, it's just it's more difficult to read. You know what they read their hand, because I can't tell you how many times I've held a threat against a control player. Only, and then when I finally like 2 or 3, hold it for 2 or 3 turns and not cast it. Then finally, when I rip it, they just follow up by like 3 draw spells because they didn't have the counter the whole time. Like, but they baited me out, and they didn't have to deal with that threat for like 3 turns. That
they delayed the game and
they played the game exactly.
Yeah. Now they have 8 mana, and you're scared to play anything.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like so there's a time and a place, and it's tricky too because when you're playing against them, there's a time and a place to just run out your threats, and there's a time and a place to hold back and play around the counter. And knowing when those little nuances are, it's tough. It's just, Magic's a tough game. So I gotta say, I love watching players bringing their A game at events like this.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just cool to watch. Like, I get a big kick out of it. Oh, and interestingly enough, Harvey does have the One Master's Rebuke in hand. That's in the deck. So there it is.
And this is nice for Harvey, the Cultivator coming out with Vigilance and Trample and that counter.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Arguably the best 1/2 combo you could have in that deck.
Oh yeah. I mean, Tenacious Pup into any good 2-drop is really fantastic. And the fact that the Forceful Cultivator is ahead on stats and gets you a land, that was a great setup.
You could turn it into a 2-drop. That's pretty legit.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's some treats for my cat here. She's
do what you got to do, yeah. All right, so double Forceful Cultivators from Harvey, and able to cast both of them out for 2. It feels pretty good. And it looks like Harvey is choosing to ramp up to the Invoke the Ancients rather than play out Old Growth Troll last turn, which I can respect. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because we've seen Invoke the Ancients do some phenomenal work. I mean, it puts, for 5 mana, putting 2 4/5s with keywords on the board. It's just efficient is really what it comes down to. It's just a really efficient 5-drop.
It leaves you with such decisions too.
Oh yeah.
Like, do I want? It's just like you can pick. It's like so many choices.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's really fun. I find ramping it into Invoke the Ancients to be really difficult because Blizzard Brawl. How could we forget about Blizzard Brawl? There it is. I find
those are Snowlands.
Yes, those are the Snowlands with the art from Modern Horizons. Yep.
Got it. Okay. Shows you how much Historic I play.
It's all good. No worries. All right. Yeah, Tenacious Pup makes a great chump blocker. It's a little 1-drop that has done its job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harvey, interestingly enough, not playing the Snowlands at all. So showing to everyone that the Blizzard Brawl is not... I mean, it's an open deckless tournament, but all the same. And here comes the Vigilance counters on those ancient tokens.
I think Vigilance does make a lot of sense in this matchup because you don't want to go Trample and then just have them outpace you, and then Trample's irrelevant, Vigilance, it kind of makes more sense.
Yeah. And there are no flyers, so reach is just completely out of the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Colony Ambush and the Master's Rebuke. So there is removal in Harvey's hand. It'll be very interesting to see how he leverages that. Yeah, I think that that Mammoth is not going to be long for this world. Unless there's a Snakeskin Veil or a Tameo Safekeeping.
Oh, goodness. No, that would be something.
Absolutely. So the question is, do you attack first? I think you attack first here.
Yeah.
Give them the opportunity to just block with it, which they probably won't do unless they have a trick. But if they do have a trick, you can respond to that trick with the Master's Rebuke.
Yeah. I kind of like to wait and see, and I know they could just hold full control, but I kind of like to move past main phase 1 and see if they are given priority. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Before I go doing something like that, you know what I mean? And if they're not given priority, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. That is always fun when you click next and it just like flies past. Like, yes, let's go.
You're like, all right, I can do whatever I want now. Yeah. And that's an instant anyway, so you might as well wait till blockers are declared. I think that makes sense.
So, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to be killing the Sundew Mammoth, and this also allows the other 4/5 to come through, so that's nice.
Yeah. And notably, not a fight spell, so if you were to use it on that Death Touch creature, it wouldn't die.
Right. Yeah, that is very significant.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we have a situation where FireOnIce is down to, well, now 2 cards in hand. The board has been pretty well hit. Oh, but there's an invoke the Ancients of their own. It's an instant board. It just add water, and here we are.
The land into the Ancients. Oh goodness! And then notably, if FireOnIce attacks with one, it's a 5/6 now, and now you're looking at having to double block it, and you're getting 2 for 1s.
Ouch! And Tajira Blightblade is back. Ouch! Oof. Even that overall oddity, I don't think is going to be enough to.
That was off the top, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
Because they kept the card in hand. Okay. Yeah. And notably, Harvey played the Colony Ambush as a land when it gave up a fight spell to get rid of the Blightblade. So that's unfortunate. So could still go oddity here, or could pump the pack leader to give it 5 power. I think that's the idea. And then you put the counter on the troll. Sure, makes sense.
Yeah,
get a card. Why not? Yeah, makes sense. Ooh, and now you're looking at, depending how they block, maybe you just choose to get rid of their Ranger class with Boseiju.
Yeah, that could be fantastic.
I think if they block me with a 4/5, I have to pump the pack leader if they block the pack leader that way. But if they just block with the Death Touch, I think I'm doing Boseiju.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So the Werewolf Pack Leader was doing some great work, but you'll actually be able to play out a fresh Werewolf Pack Leader and Boseiju here and be just fine.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like Harvey might be looking at the same line too.
You know, and then you've got a new rolled-outy that you can just like windmill slam next turn.
Right.
Yeah, and swing in. So, yeah, they'll be able to. Well, the Old Growth Troll here is getting double blocked, so you do. I mean, it is going to die. But as we've seen, the Old Growth Troll is usually doing. You know, you're still going to get plenty of value out of it. Like, it's going to be just fine. All right, so here comes the Troll. Ranger class uptaken. Man, those spirit tokens are really holding the line here for both players. Making it just there are no good attacks. They just don't exist.
Stalemate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look at 43 left and 40 left. Okay, so we have a lot of deck to go through yet, but I mean, we are a third of the way through. Oh, and then there goes FireOnIce. Okay, there we go. Now we're talking.
Absolutely.
But still no attack. And then in response, you kind of just have to do the same thing with Harvey has to just kind of do the same thing. He doesn't really get a choice here. and it looks especially good with an inscription on the top of your library there.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, that's one of the
Flipping
things
the
about
oddity.
yeah, one of the things about cards that lets you activate the top of your library like that, I think it's underappreciated, just the ability to see what you're about to draw. Even if you don't get to cast it, just
Yeah.
knowing what it is can go such a long way.
Yeah. Agreed. And if I'm correct, you can you can activate Ulvenwald's ability at instant speed, so
Yep.
it's okay that Harvey didn't do it on their turn. Okay, yep, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see an attack yet from FireOnIce, but
We're getting
soon.
closer though. Yeah.
Soon. But I think if Harvey can hold off and do inscription, so you flip your oddity here, you inscription onto their oddity, you're looking at no cards in hand. You're not worried about protection. This could be what changes the game here.
Absolutely. Well, and holding Tamiyo safekeeping back means that you can also attack with the
Yeah.
oddity, even having taken some damage.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be
And then-
safe.
And then it's like, hey, I know I gained 8 life, but I'm going to gain 2 more just because.
Right?
And I might even swing with it first and then let them get, try to give up whatever.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, it turns out 11 power with trample is pretty good.
That just feels great.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're FireOnIce and you don't know that Tamiyo safekeeping is there, okay, it just yeah, there it is.
Oh goodness.
Boom. Wow, that was
I'd be thinking about entering the scoop phase here.
It's getting there, yeah.
If I had the Ranger class out still, I would say maybe we can get by. I mean, but Old Girl Troll at the top is good because, I mean, yeah, you'd have to triple block, but
right. Well, and here we have
Mammoth
with a Tenacious Pup buff, and it has haste because of the oddity, and we have Invoke the Ancients off the top. Next turn, if there is a next turn, which is a big if.
That's I don't know if I swing with. Do you swing with the oddity here? You forced. Oh, he's doing math. I see him pointing at the screen.
Yep, he's doing. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so 12-12. So even if they do want to kill it, they got to block with they got to triple block that thing.
Oof.
So he's thinking just clear him out, and what's the worst that happens? They put down one more creature next turn.
Yeah. Pretty much. Well, I mean, next turn, FireOnIce, there is probably hoping for another Invoke the Ancients. That's probably their best bet because that puts 2 good-sized bodies on board, not knowing that Harvey has an Invoke the Ancients coming up, and they're going to have haste.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Noteworthy here, planning.
Or they're not going to have haste. I'm sorry, because even it bites it this turn. My apologies there.
But it's noteworthy also, you don't kill the troll there. Don't give him a chance to make another troll on the end step. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, Blizzard Brawl. That was a good hit. Okay.
Decent top deck. Might buy you another turn.
Right.
Don't think I recommend swinging here.
Yeah. Absolutely. As much as you might want to, it's just not a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we go Vigilance again. Okay.
Yeah, I'm swinging with the 2/4/4s. That makes sense.
Sure. Who gets the counter? Mammoth? Because of the Vigilance?
Yeah, I think Mammoth makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, good game. Wow. Well played, Harvey. Well played. Well played by both the competitors. I got to say, that was a fun match to watch. Yeah, and I know I've built a lot of janky decks on, myself. And as a result, a lot of times I'll gear all my hatred towards, or, all my removal towards one style. And so it's like, okay, if we're going up against aggro, I'm going to be fine. If we're not, we're going to get wrecked,
Exactly.
And, it's easy to fall into that trap. And these competitive decks, you can't afford that. To your point, you have to have that versatility.
Yeah.
All right.
In my first tournament ever, I obviously ran Orzhov, but went up against Izzet Control the 3 out of the first 4 matchups.
Oof.
And it was before the all runs ban. So
oh no.
That was so I was just getting, It was a Red Bull tournament, and they're just
Okay.
taking 8 turns in a row on me. So
Woof.
it was
rough.
bad.
Well, the thing that made that deck especially frustrating to play against is, I don't know about you, but a lot of the times, like in the first 5-6 turns, you feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like it'll be
Yep.
just fine. And then they
And-
just turn the corner and the game's over and you lost.
And
Like, what happened?
they love to let you feel like that.
Right.
Too. Make you feel like you're safe.
Yeah, it's
you're
like, no, I
not.
won't block. Go ahead and get in for a little bit of damage. Yeah, I know that takes me
Yeah.
down to 7. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
When you were first learning how to play Magic on Arena, and I gave you that their tip, you can still win the game with 20 life or 1 life.
Yes.
Your life total is a resource. It was
New
true.
ticket received.
they weren't
true.
lying to you.
There comes a time, I know, and it's easy when you're for newer players to fall in the trap of I must block. Like, no, you don't have to.
Mhm.
Sometimes just take the hit. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
All right, so here we have 2 Ranger classes online doing their thing. We also have the Forceful Cultivator. OGT coming down with the Tenacious Pup buff. That's pretty good. 5/5 Trample Vigilance for 3. Yeah, I'll take it.
I think he is valuing.
All right. Indeed, there is much value happening at the moment. And we know Harvey doesn't have lands in hand, but this is going to put the 6 force on the field, so that's fine.
I like it.
Right?
I guess another good thing.
Jukai Liberator. Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah, I like the Jukai Liberator. I think that's cool.
That's a fun card, yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that'll do, I guess, that we didn't even think about with the Cultivator is, when you're getting that land, and then you're also thinning out your deck and making sure you keep drawing creatures.
That's true. Yeah.
Which in turn makes Ranger class that much more effective.
Right, because you're far more likely, or you become more likely to hit creatures the more you ramp lands out of your deck. Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay, so
Colony Ambush has an opportunity to Vrym here has an opportunity to use Colony Ambush to have the Old Growth Troll fight one of the Cultivators or the Liberator, thus saving one of their creatures. I think you save the pup here. Yeah.
It's a pretty big pup.
It's a big pup. And because they're both vanilla creatures at this point in the game, 3/3 or 3/4. Yeah, save the 3/4.
Yeah. And I mean, could be 2 creatures coming down, but you gotta really get some threats. Okay, that's
a good one. Yep. Speaking of threats, yeah.
That counts. Oh, he's
Absolutely
swinging? Okay.
Yeah, I think Harvey might have thought that one of the Ranger classes was upticked, and it was not. So that was a good thing to hold back on. All right, they're well down to their own. However, Vrym's Ranger class is leveled up.
And
So
it
here
looks
we have-
like no matter what blocks what, they die. So
Yeah.
And I think this forces a block to 2 different creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the same boat now where you need 2 creatures again. And that's rough. Yeah. Okay, Harvey moving to game 2.
Yep. Moving on to game 2. At the end of the day, Vrym just was able to mobilize the threats effectively. A really well placed Colony Ambush there to effectively win that combat in pretty epic fashion.
Yeah,
Just
that was
check out Harvey's board. What you gonna do? I'll move on to game 2. That's what you do in that situation.
Froghemoth in the sideboard. Interesting card.
Yeah.
Super interesting. And Cemetery Prowler, notably, making cheaper Symbiosis or the Invoke the Ancients, or obviously creature spells. So that's something, but it looks like as a one of not coming in the mirror, possibly too slow.
Possibly.
Or maybe on the draw, not as ideal.
Right. Yeah. It is amazing for a deck like this how big of a difference the draw versus the play makes. I mean, we all know it makes a difference, but
yeah,
my
absolutely.
goodness, it's night and day with this mono green deck. Yeah, and this is your Blightblade being a really good good blocker here.
Love a 1/1 Death Touch 1-drop on the draw. Sounds great.
It's fantastic.
It makes you feel safe.
Exactly. Well, here comes Forceful Cultivator. So Harvey kept a 2-lander, it seems.
Yeah. I think, pack leader sounds good.
Yeah. The other option was to hold up the inscription, so you
Yeah.
could buff the Tajiro Blightblade if they chose to swing with the Cultivator. But let's be honest, they weren't going to swing with the Cultivator anyway, so no need to hold that up.
Now you look at maybe next turn you do a fight spell on the Cultivator to free you up or from Blightblade to Cultivator to free up a pack leader attack, perhaps. But
Yeah, that's an option.
It's a little aggressive, but it could work. Oh,
Absolutely.
okay, never mind.
Ooh, maybe
now
not.
there's a 5/5 troll.
It was looking good for a second there, but yeah.
Yeah. So now it's almost like the inverse of how it was last game, where Vrym got the troll on turn 3, and now we're looking at Harvey getting it.
All right, so the Tenacious Pup is coming out. The Inscription of Abundance is back for the block, which is pretty nice. Being able to put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature at instant speed is a big deal, and that might come into play here.
Pack leader trades with troll, perhaps, or maybe Harvey has a fight spell.
It's possible.
They're looking at stuff.
Yeah, that always makes me nervous when when cards on the board start lighting up. Like, oh, what are you?
I'm like, stop looking at my cards, man.
Yeah, man. Quit touching my cards. What are you doing? Yeah.
You don't even know what that does.
Well, I love it because the arena game, the arena client has found a way to simulate that moment where your opponent goes, "Wait, what does that do again?" Like, I don't want to. No, that's not good.
Yeah.
How big is that?
I love when it's
Like,
highlighted.
how big is your old control right now? Yeah, dude, don't worry about it. Like,
what happens when that thing dies? Because I think I want to kill it.
Yeah, that's the worst. Yeah, it's like, so, wait, what was the death trigger on that again? Like, oh, come on, man. Yeah, I just want to keep my stuff.
And that's a lot of things coming on the board for the mana that was put down.
Yeah. Yeah, Harvey definitely taking advantage of that extra mana from the troll.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So, okay. Okay, so you set up the Oddity for next turn, get your 4/4 Mammoth. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that sounds fine. I was wondering if maybe you bolt yourself on the Symbiosis and drop the Oddity, but I think the Mammoth as a 4/4 with Vigilance sounds nice.
Yeah.
Especially right now.
Yeah, it seems really good.
Yeah. And notably, you are not the aggressor, so it might not be the best idea to be detracting from your life total.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great call out. Because, yeah, Vrym is definitely in the defensive spot right now.
Yeah.
Okay, choosing to attack with the Tenacious Pups to draw a card.
Okay, sure.
Nah. Card draw is important. And at this point, the Tenacious Pup is really more of a chump blocker than anything. Ooh, that's a Snakeskin Veil. That goes a long way.
So it stays. Oh, man.
That was a violent 2-for-1 right there.
2-for.
Yeah, that was brutal.
There's your Cultivator that you cast by tapping 1 mana.
Yeah, the 1 land Cultivator. Seems good.
Tap one land that you use to cast a spell that's 4. That's a 4 drop, basically,
Yeah. All right, so the pack leader into the Ascended pack leader, that is, into Uvenwald Oddity.
Decent.
Not a bad setup. Yeah, not a bad setup at all. It's not great that they had to spend 3 life to shock in or to bolt in the Symbiosis to do it, but
yeah,
sometimes it's just what you got to do.
Yeah. So it's interesting sequencing. They could have done it previously. They chose to do it then and there. So I guess maybe they figure I'm not getting to 7 mana this game, most likely. So
right,
especially when they're, I think Harvey just played out his whole hand that turn.
He did.
that was ridiculous.
And it was a Tajiro Blightblade into an Invoke the Ancients, which is pretty much the last thing Vrym wanted to see there. That was it was pretty rough. So
it is interesting for these decks. So now you see Prowler coming in on the play, notably. And we look at a total of 3 Master's Rebukes in the 75 for Vrym, where I think Harvey, we said it was a 1 of, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, let me double check let me check, make sure I wasn't missing something in the sideboard. Oh, he did have 2 in the sideboard.
Okay.
Yeah, but only one in the main. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting to see how they, run the same deck, but the nuances between each of them.
Absolutely. Well, that is one of the things that becomes really fun. Like, it's easy to think of just, oh, the green aggro deck. It's like, sure,
Mhm.
but how did they like? How do you tune it? How do you make it your own? What do you,
Exactly.
how do you make it your version of the green aggro deck? I think that's really
Exactly.
cool, and something that those little nuances. I mean, people talk about. I've heard people refer to the 15th sideboard slot. The thing that that pro players agonize over, because
Mhm.
that's sometimes that makes the difference. Oh, the cultivator rip
Yeah.
off the top, perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was exactly, and that's right there is exactly why you don't play out the Kazundu Mammoth on turn 1, which Vrym was considering. Which in normal situations, when you weren't in Alchemy,
You would have.
you absolutely would have. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we are in
Blueberg is
Alchemy, and
not
the
bad.
cultivator's the thing. So here we are.
3 trolls in hand. You got to feel like that sets you up pretty nicely. You feel pretty comfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah, and at this point, if you draw land, you're able to cast out an Old Growth Troll and a Werewolf Pack Leader in one
Yeah.
turn. That's pretty great. That's a pretty sweet turn 5.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What I'm wondering is, usually people get the idea to, craft decks like this from, maybe it's a pro player who did well with this deck in a tournament, what have you. And I'm just kind of wondering who did it. Do you know what I mean? Or like someone makes a YouTube video.
Yes.
I haven't seen it. Like, which creator or, high level player did that.
Sure.
And, I wonder what their version is, because I'm yet to see it personally.
Right. No, actually that's interesting, because yeah, you can tell, like we can always feel the ripple on the ladder, when one of those big videos comes out with the new brew, because
Yeah.
everybody's running it, or many people are running it.
Sure.
And yeah, and when you see pro players publish new deck lists, they become more popular. Naturally. I mean, that's what they're doing it for, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good question. Is like, who was it that kind of brought mono green back into the forefront in Alchemy? Because yeah, I haven't seen it either. Like,
It's interesting.
yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and toot my own horn. I did actually do a mono green Alchemy video. I mean, it doesn't have anywhere near the yeah.
Okay.
It's not this list specifically. It's something different, but it does use the Jukai Liberator and that kind of stuff. So that said, that one is sitting on like 50 views. I know that wasn't the video that broke this back into the meta, but
Guys,
if I may
extra
just
cue to go check out HamHawks on YouTube.
HamHawks 42 on YouTube. Yeah, just if I may subtly plug my stuff. But no, it is interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if there was somebody like a major pro or a big time content creator who did publish an article or post a YouTube video, pointing out, hey guys, cultivator works and this deck's legit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and actually that's one thing. My Alchemy list was not using the cultivator, because at the time I was still pretty confident that card was terrible. And again, I'm just chowing down on my words right now. Just delicious words.
I know, right?
Because it's working.
Ancient's coming down.
All right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's legit.
But I did see people using Jukai Liberator in Gruul builds.
Ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because Jukai Liberator, I think, is an interesting one, because Tenacious Pup on 1, if your opponent doesn't produce a blocker, you can Jukai Liberator it in, and it gets all the counters from Tenacious Pup, and you reload your pup. And then you can
do it again.
Oh, so good. Like that
great.
line, if your opponent leaves their face open for you. So if you're on the play, it's a lot easier to pull off. But that 1-2 punch is devastating if you can get it going. So it's really satisfying.
In Gruul decks, they're using that new 1-drop that gives your modified creatures menace. The artillery, something like that.
Oh, yes. Is the artillery enthusiast, or
enthusiast? Yeah, because that allows you to filter and seek a card with the same mana value. So that's an ETB effect. So the idea is do it with 1-drop ETB effects. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Oh, Boseiju can hit the... Okay.
You can hit enchantments. So, yeah, farewell to the Old Growth Troll.
Oh, so that's considered an enchantment on a land.
Yep, it's an aura on the land.
Okay.
Yep.
Understood.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened there. And so now we have a lot of OGTs. We have the spirit tokens that we've come to know and love in this matchup. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Vrym
one
really
mana
wants to
short.
cast that Turn Timber Symbiosis, but unfortunately,
Just keeps flashing.
sorry, dude.
Come
It's
on,
just not
dude.
an option right now.
And what's funny is, had Harvey not destroyed that enchantment on the land, Vrym would have been able to. So it's
Right?
a
It's just,
little frustration here. So now it's like, do I put the ambush down as a land and lose my fight spell? Trust what comes off the top.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you could also
You know?
use the Colony Ambush to smack trolls against each other, but that's going to ramp Harvey as well. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that's really worth a card.
Is the ambush an instant?
I believe it is, actually. Yeah.
Okay. I might just pass and say go and wait and see what Harvey does if I'm for him.
Not a bad idea at this point. Yeah.
Well, that's me not as much of an aggro player. Wait for your opponent to slip up and then,
And take advantage. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Maybe opting for card draw here. That's fair.
Okay. I can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, you're worrying about, being able to pump the pack leader, take out the troll, but I guess in a way you want him to take out the troll.
Yeah. Actually, you can do a lot worse than that. So let's see how they line the fight up here. They're going to smack trolls against each other so the pack leader survives.
I see. And then you can put that on the forest and then pump the pack leader still. Give it trample hit for 5.
That's pretty sweet.
That's some 5-head action. Let's see if
absolutely that's a sweet line. Let's see if Vrym.
Okay, elects not to do that.
Indeed.
So maybe I guess their plan would be to just make trolls on the opponent's end step.
Yeah, you can do a lot worse than that.
Because Harvey might do the same thing. So you want to get ahead of the curve on it.
Okay.
It's a safer play.
Right. All right, here comes the cultivator again. Ooh, Master's Rebuke. That hurts.
That's a magic card.
It sure is.
As Pizza always says.
I love it.
So
yeah,
I think we could say Harvey's in a good spot here.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
And I think Vrym, something to think about, what they're looking at being able to do you make the troll here, and I think you still have enough mana to do Symbiosis on your turn.
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because there are 2 lands that have the troll enchantments on them.
Yep.
So yeah, I think you're good either way here. Yeah. So that would be interesting. And you get another land.
Force off the top just to make sure.
Yeah. And there's your oddity. And then now you have 7 lands, which this could make a difference here.
Yeah, that was a big time hit. Yep.
Yeah. And yeah. You don't attack, you save, and then Harvey's gonna get the troll. Sure.
Mm-hmm. And rip their turn timber Symbiosis off the top. I don't know. I'm just assuming.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 6 mana up to use, so. But I guess they already put down one of theirs as a land, but they each run 4 of them, don't they?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is all about how many MDFCs can you slam in there.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to be running too many lands in the end. Ooh, Inscription of Abundance. That hurts. Yep, the Crying Hedron comes out there. Very appropriate.
And now you're looking at a 6/7.
Yeah, double block. The troll. Well, just taking 6 in the face. Okay, all right.
No block.
Goodness. This could be good.
I
can take the Mammoth here. That's kind of my feeling.
Do you go Mammoth or do you hope for okay, yeah. Oh, because that's where it gets the counters. Okay, that's what you're talking about.
Costs less than 3, or costs 3 or less. Sure. Yep.
Okay, I like that.
So 6/6 that if you draw into lands can get even bigger.
Yeah.
You could do worse.
Yeah.
Vigilante there is coming in. It's pretty good. So now the question is, do you risk the Kazundu Mammoth here? Or, I mean, at this point, Vrim's at 10 life. I feel like you have to, you have to do the double block.
And I will gladly eat your mammoth.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And then still can make a troll. Ranger class off the top is decent.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Because you're looking at being able to level it the whole way up on the same turn if you wanted to.
I know I'd want to.
But I guess it's okay going for it.
Just going for it. I mean, the other option was straight up troll, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Harvey makes a troll, sure. Another range class off the top.
Yeah, okay. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
You get the counter on your troll to make your troll bigger than their troll.
Exactly.
Yeah. Harvey kind of stuck on 5 mana here. Not an ideal situation because it's just your lair can only be 3, so it's not that great.
No.
Although if you swung in with it, you'd be looking at 9 damage to the face. But I don't think you risk giving it up.
Right.
I think this attack is fine though.
Yeah, sitting at 22 life, you can afford to take something on the crackback. That's okay.
Yeah.
At this point, you just gotta apply pressure. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cultivators, we're gonna be saying bye bye to the cultivator here. And I think that's the right thing to do. Makes sense.
It looks like Harvey has a Blight Blade in hand.
Okay.
I've got both their
Yeah, the other stream up. Nice.
Yeah.
Like a professional. I love it.
I was like, wait, he's streaming too. I can watch both.
You sure can.
Because I was curious at that point.
Sure. Yeah, so there's the Blight Blade. Okay.
And now we're going, oh, the Colossus off the top. And then an inscription. Oh, goodness.
All right. But the cultivator's actually going to shuffle.
Which gives you a cemetery. Oh, my gosh.
Could be something.
Yeah. I mean, shuffling into another. I think right here, if you're Harvey, you got to take that troll.
Sure.
Before that thing gets any larger.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you're taking what? 7? Which, yeah.
You can afford that.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
3rd layer coming up.
Taking the Invoke the Ancients. Making sorceries a little less expensive. I can appreciate that. You're going to Ranger Class Harvey slash the good games. Going to scoop it up.
Scooping. It's just too much.
All right, so it looks like we do have. So it looks like the game is underway.
I'm trying to figure out how to mute them. Or does it not matter? Oh, wait. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Now we're good.
Good deal.
Oh, Pizza said table 15 in Discord.
Yeah, we're going to be watching from table 15's perspective. Sounds good. Let's go.
But I guess it's the same.
It's the same game.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the same game. All right. Cool. So yeah, we're watching from MagicBeard's perspective. Oof! I see a meat hook in hand. That's all I needed to see. Although the opponent has 2 brush strokes down. That's no joke either.
I don't know if anybody saw it in chat earlier, but I actually played Sky on the ladder last night.
Oh, really?
Very good Magic player. Yes, very good. I'm still like in platinum because I'm slow rolling this season. Sky was Diamond 1.
Oh, nice.
Sky probably hit Mythic last night, so congrats to Sky. And then they were using this deck too, so I'm sure they were testing for today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I kind of live in platinum. I got to be honest. I just don't care that much about my ranking. It's just most seasons. Every now and then I'm like, okay, I'm doing it this month. Let's go. But for the most part, yeah.
I've learned that it's not as big of a deal as some make it out to be. But for content creation, it's nice.
It is nice to be able to say, like,
nice.
yes, this deck can win and get X number of percentage in Mythic. Like, okay, that makes it's meaningful for sure.
But then you have guys like Mono Black Magic, they'll get 150,000 views on a YouTube video and platinum 4 doesn't matter. And
Right, doesn't matter, but
time. They
yeah,
just laugh at everybody.
exactly.
I think that's great. Once
Yeah.
I saw that, I was like, this takes like so much pressure off me, I feel like. You know?
Right, absolutely. Well, because the thing that Mono Black and other creators like him do is they just produce such engaging, fun content. He's just throwing a party, and you just kind of want to be there, and people show up.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, it's just so much fun, and so it doesn't what's your rank? I don't really care, man. You're making me laugh. Let's do this.
And I think some people are also intimidated by the words mythic, like especially newer players. So it makes people feel possibly a little bit more comfortable, as if like, hey, this is viable for me too,
right?
Because he's here and he's doing it,
Absolutely.
So that they may feel a little bit more comfortable. Some individuals watching that, maybe some people play for fun and they don't want that competitive environment as much as others do.
Absolutely. Well, and the pressure to compete is very real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. So the Infernal Grasp taking out the Hive of the Eye Tyrant. However, Sky is sitting with the Den of the Bugbear still, so that's notable. Soren is just getting value.
Now, at what point, if you got Kiki Jiki, at what point do you start copying these vampires? But
I'd probably be doing that pretty quickly.
But I guess you have to be careful about how you do it, because the Blood Artist, every time you have to sacrifice it, you're going to get taxed.
True.
So, I mean, maybe eventually you look at meat hooking for 1.
Yeah.
Just deal with it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
But then you also hate to feel like you wasted it.
True, because Meat Hook is a very powerful card that can help you get back into a game from a pretty devastating position.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many games I've lost to Meat Hook Massacre, like just to that card.
Oh my gosh.
Everything else in the deck I had an answer for, and I was holding up my, I was doing just fine against. And then they just slam Meat Hook. It's like, well, that's game, I guess.
Sky discards a brushstroke here, opts to not have another Blood Artist, which
that's interesting.
I think that's
Ooh, that hurts.
Told you should have used it. Told you.
Right. Ouch. I was just about to say, so Sky discards the brushstroke. What did they keep? That's always threatening. When you see something really dangerous hit the graveyard, it's like, what did you hang on to?
Ooh.
Oh, Invoke Despair. Yep, you're ripping that off the top all day.
Goodness. Now you probably get rid of your 1/1 and keep the Blood Artist though, huh?
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
And Undercity Plunder.
You might as well cast Plunder and take one of their cards when you're in the mirror.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. Get a land. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, now you can start. I mean, you could Kiki Jiki and.
Yeah,
I probably would have been Kiki Jiking Vampires this whole time, but you're right. The Blood Artist does kind of mitigate the benefit of that.
I guess maybe you could save the ability to Kiki Jiki if they choose to animate the Bugbear, because then a token that was going to die anyway is now taking out a Bugbear.
True.
So I guess you could hold it back for that, and it's not terrible.
No, that's a good. Yeah, that's a good point. Absolutely.
And looks like Sky's considering, but it is a tough board state right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just amazed that we've seen a Kiki Jiki stick on the board this long. Because when Reflection of Kiki Jiki shows up, it tends to get knocked out pretty fast. All right.
So Sky was deciding, do I go for Soren or do I hit the Kiki Jiki? No artifact to sacrifice, so you're not hitting one of the vampires.
Okay, so there's
start filtering.
Yeah, Celestis activation, because you got a land to chuck, so you might as well gain a little bit of life. Nothing wrong with that. No, you got another land. Yeah, discard the pathway, because if you can choose black or red, now why not have black and red?
Is it out of the question to hog Mauling the Blood Artist?
I don't think so. I think that might actually make a lot of sense here.
I think so too, especially when you're looking at 6 in the air and then just have lethal next turn.
Yeah. Perhaps. I mean, you're opening yourself up to a crackback from the den, but that's fine.
Yeah.
They choose not to Mauling the Blood Artist, so that is going to...
And I don't think you can crack back on the den. Well, I mean, I guess you kind of have to hold back the den in case you want to block with Kiki Jiki, but I guess you could always block with Blood Artist. But
Right.
blocking with the Blood Artist just feels so bad. Oh,
Yeah.
and Sky Scoops.
Sky's gonna scoop it up. That makes sense because there was also the Hive of the Eye Tyrant sitting there.
Yeah.
So with that, we're moving on to game 3, which is pretty delightful.
Yeah. Opts to save time in a mirror match where, you know, the games take a little bit longer. So I definitely understand.
Absolutely.
You don't want to show too many more cards either.
True. Very true. And sure enough, there are those Orvars sitting there having been sideboarded in because, yep, this is the matchup for them.
So now I'm wondering, let me go to Melee here. Does Sky have Orvars?
Yep. 2 Orvar on the sideboard.
It just seems like it's becoming a staple now.
Oh, for sure. Well, and if you're wondering why, so for the folks at home, if you're wondering why in the world would you put Orvar in this list, because it has the ability when a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, create a token that's a copy of target permanent. So you just get your best thing. You just get an extra one for free because your opponent hits you with a Go Blank or an Undercity Plunder. So it just gives you free value for getting hit by what should be a pretty devastating attack by your opponent. So it mitigates that nicely. And you discard a card that is otherwise useless. So there's that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You know, and we've seen this with cards that have madness or other cards like I believe the there was a cow from Eldraine, the gifted cow or something like that. It gave you I believe it gave you mana when you discarded or created food tokens when it was discarded. Little things like that can go a long way. So I'm not surprised that it's a situation where that effect is viable and we're in a meta where there's a lot of discards. So people are using it.
And especially when Alchemy is a format where a lot of times in the decks, because it's a faster format, you don't want to go in terms of mana value much higher than 4 in a lot of instances. So there's many times where the highest mana value in your hand is going to be a 4-drop. And
Absolutely.
what hits the highest mana value in your hand is the most commonly played black card, which is City Stalker.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. It's a great card. And now you're talking about, all right, well, now it's not that good because I just copied your City Stalker.
Right.
And it makes you reconsider if you even want to run it, you know?
Absolutely. And it looked like MagicBeard there was considering for a second to name Blue on the Forsaken Crossroads, so being able to actually hardcast Orvar on 4, which is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's quite worth it in this deck, but you never know. Like, could come in handy.
I guess you can make the argument that Sky likely boarded out the City Stalker.
Right. There's a good chance of that.
So if you don't think you're going to end up having to discard it, well, then you might as well be able to cast it and not have a dead card in your hand.
All right. So that Oni Called Anvil has a braid written all over it, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's the vibe I'm getting from this current board state.
And I think I would have wanted to kill it before they draw and before I let them go to main 1. Because now, okay, so you do it in response to casting. Okay, sure.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm with you.
Yeah.
I probably would have ripped it when they were tapped out. Yeah.
But I guess you can maybe they sack it to itself. Okay, sure. And you got to
get a little something, but
But I guess maybe you at least wait to see what their plan was. You let them show you what they wanted to do, and then you respond to that.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, and they definitely wanted to get the Sanguine Brushstroke down, and then it sacrificed the blood token to the anvil. Ooh, here comes the City Stalker Connoisseur.
This is where it hurts.
Yeah, getting rid of that Invoke Despair is bad news. That's a shame.
So it's like, okay, I run Orvar, but I also run Invoke Despair, so let's just hope they're not both in my starting hand.
Right.
That would suck.
Absolutely. And it sucked. Yeah, that did suck.
Invoke Despair is probably the best card to draw into.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it's a little too easy to get hit by like Check for Traps or City Stalker or whatever. Especially when you're on the draw, because now you're saying your opponent gets to 4 mana before you do. Right. So their City Stalker hits your bomb before you can hit their bomb. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, so now we have Orvar on the field, so it's a nice 3/3 body with some
Yeah,
upside. But
that's
notably, they
solid.
discarded the Spike Field Hazard, which they could have used to get a copy of Kiki Jiki when it flips. So, which could have done fun things potentially.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. And I
I don't know.
guess,
Maybe I'm overthinking it again, but that's just what I do.
well, what they discarded it with the Kiki Jiki ability.
Yes.
So Orvar has to be from your opponent, though, correct?
Yes, and so that's why
Okay.
discarding Orvar to Kiki Jiki isn't going to give you the value you're looking for.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just leave it there to trade with their City Stalker.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, preventing a City Stalker
'Cause-
attack is very meaningful. Yeah, no question about that.
Just get the Death Touch creature off the board. Clear. Well, okay, there's that.
Or get the removal out of their hand. I mean, sometimes that's what you got to
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah, that is also effective for sure.
All right. I mean, a Braid is here for the Connoisseur for next turns, or potentially.
Yeah.
So that's something.
Yeah. Well, now you got what? Lands, and what do we have available for Adversary? A Braid?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you might as well, so that you're keeping cards in your hand that way and you maintain your advantage. One could argue that you may want to use Takanuma to get back a creature, but I think if it's the only land in your hand right now, I think the Adversary into a free spell is the best play.
Yeah. A 3/3.
Unless you
Yeah,
wanna
the
go
adversary comes in
Sorin.
as a hasty 3/3, and you get the City Stalker Connoisseur off the board. That seems like a
Yeah.
good move to me. However, MagicBeard is going to choose to go with Sorin the
Opting not
Mirthless
to.
here.
Oh,
Oh, maybe not.
okay.
Just kidding.
Getting
All right.
a token. Doesn't want to use the Takanuma. Wants to save that. Get the token for the adversary. Then you do it and you save your Takanuma. Or
Or play
okay.
Takanuma, then
Hold up a braid.
hold up a Braid. Yep. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Because what if they cast an anvil?
Right.
Well, okay, just
Or
gonna
just
do it
don't
now.
hold it up, just rip it now. Yeah,
Just
okay.
rip it. Okay, why not, man? Screw
Fair
it.
enough. Fair enough. I mean, you got to get that Connoisseur off the board. That thing is, that thing's a menace. You got to deal with it.
So maybe then maybe you see if they play an anvil now, and if they don't play an anvil, you wait and you see obviously what's out, but maybe now you're talking about just doing adversary to flash back the abrade, and you hit the blood artist then.
Yeah. Well, and another interesting thing about the Bloodthirsty Adversary is its like kicker style ability is an enter the
Yeah.
battlefield trigger. So that means if Kiki Jiki were to
Right.
create a copy of the Bloodthirsty
Yeah.
Adversary, you
Yep.
get to pay that additional cost and
And do
free
it
roll something out of
again.
your graveyard again.
Yeah.
So that
Just,
could be pretty sweet.
just make sure you save your mana.
Oh yeah. So that might be fun to watch. Well, I mean, it would be fun to watch. We'll see if we get there.
Oh yeah. So notably, top decking a land, kick the adversary, copy a vampire, and just start going to town.
Yeah, that could be a pretty devastating hit, mostly out of nowhere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can uptick Sorin anyway to kind of help ensure that you hit your land drops.
Yeah.
It is noteworthy though that Sky has MagicBeard down to 12.
That's true.
No 11.
Yeah, that blood artist is putting in some work. No
And
question about it.
There's another blood token that's going to be one more damage, and this is where there's the land. So this is where you're looking at when do I have to get rid of this, because you're getting dinged every turn now.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, so I think if I'm MagicBeard in this situation, I'm probably going to be kicking the adversary. It's not really kicker, but it's just let's call it what it is. It feels like kicker.
Yeah, it's like
practically
kicker that you can kick as many times as you can kick it.
Exactly. And sometimes you've got to kick it. Yeah. And I think you hit the spike field hazard going.
Oh, spike! Sure, why not? Why not?
Going after the blood arts is perfect here.
Yeah, because you only need to do 1 damage.
And it
So
exiles,
why
so you
waste
don't
an abrade?
it
I like
exiles so you don't get the death trigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Why waste an abrade when they have 4 anvils in their deck?
Right. Exactly. Keeping Kiki Jiki back to be a little defensive with it. Okay. I think I would have made another vampire and gotten 4 in the air. Personally, that's probably how I would have done it. But
I like
Not
that.
to say that's right. It's just what I would have done. MagicBeard knows
Yeah.
this deck better than I do, so
Yeah.
I have
And
no doubt there's a
you
plan.
know, it's interesting, you know, you can make it, you know, you make your tokens, you can make that token on your opponent's end step and you keep it for your turn.
That's true.
And then it dies. So there's the sequencing with well that's
Ouch. That's yeah.
the sequencing with Kiki Jiki is, you know, it's interesting.
Absolutely.
And there we go. And that's where you could say that, okay, well that hurt MagicBeard really bad now.
Oh, big time.
You know?
Yeah, they do have a blue source, so they could play out Orvar here if they really wanted to. And yeah,
Play
might as well.
Orvar, then do check for traps. Possibly go down to 7, depending what you take. Maybe should have let it. Well, no, because they probably would have just. Well, yeah. Now you're like, man, I should have kept the Orvar. I could have got their brush stroke or their whatever, and then I get a Blood Artist.
Right.
I think I take the City Stalker.
Now, notably, check for traps does exile. It doesn't discard. So getting rid of Orvar here doesn't give them the bonus.
So you cut that off in case you hit that later. Okay, sure.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's true. Good point.
So if you top deck into your own Go Blank or under City Plunder, you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
So do we think Sky? Do you think they go for? It almost makes you wonder when they choose Orvar. That last card in their hand, is that a discard spell? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, maybe.
Because if you want to free up the ability to discard, okay, well, is that what you have? You know?
Yeah, it's you know, that would, if I was in Sky's position, I'd probably assume that that exact thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think going City Stalker makes the most sense. Threaten Sorin and just figure out what it was.
Right.
And I think at this point we've seen both of the Orvars from MagicBeard. So we, in a sense, Sky gets to do that without really having to worry about repercussions.
True. Very true.
All right, and now it almost looks like MagicBeard's. I don't want to say panic mode, but you know.
Yeah, it's definitely
Okay, now it looks like panic mode. He probably could have plussed there.
Probably.
Now it makes it look like panic mode.
Yeah. Well, at this point, Sky doesn't necessarily have a dominant board presence, at least when it comes to creatures.
Yeah.
But they just have accrued so much value. And sitting with a brushstroke and a meat hook and a blood token sitting there, I mean, that's a ping for one that's just dialed in, ready to go.
That really matters right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because MagicBeard is already down to 7. I mean, that's really significant.
Yeah. And then
this is where that token. Yeah,
this is where that check for traps hurt you too, because that was 3 life right there.
That's
you
true.
paid 2 to get it from Sorin, and you paid 1 more to exile the creature.
Right. Ouch.
Yeah, so that's where that can. I mean, yes, your Leto is a resource, but man, did you have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where we're talking. You know, when's the right time to kill the Blood Artist? That stuff matters.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Here comes an additional tax from the meat hook with the trade. But good news is MagicBeard's looking to gain. Oh man, well there's 2 more, but MagicBeard's looking to gain 4 life, so that's a thing. Oh,
and the anvil. Is that game?
That is something.
It's something. Yeah. No, I don't think it's quite. I don't think it's quite game yet, but it's not looking good.
I don't think so, but it's getting there. It's at a point where MagicBeard just basically has to swing with those vampires every turn. You could even make the argument that you just -2 Sorin again, so you have 3 of them. Like it's that bad, you know.
For sure. Well, being at 4 life when your opponent has Sanguine Brushstroke, Only Called Anvil, and Meat Hook Massacre on board,
and artifacts outside of
artifacts,
yes,
you know? Exactly.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing here. So I think it's okay. So yeah, you sack that one, and you get so you sack that to get the mana.
Yep.
Then you use it to sack the blood token to tax 1 more, and you filter. And now they're down to 3.
And then you can tap the Only Called Anvil, sacrifice the one more
The artifact that you made.
Then again,
Is that one more, and then Meat Hook is another one.
Yep.
So okay,
Because I'm
they're down to one.
Yeah.
Goodness. Notably, they could also do it on MagicBeard's turn.
True.
So I guess you could wait and see. Ooh.
Invoke Spirit does hit. Well, they have the brushstrokes.
Okay, so here's what you do in response.
Yeah.
Oni, you sacrifice your artifact with Oni. That brings them down to one, and then you sack your Voldaren Epicure.
Oh, to the Invoke Despair.
That would be lethal.
That would be lethal, and I think MagicBeard sees it. Yep.
Well, I guess you have to swing first, but
right.
Yeah, you can't cast it on main one right now.
But yeah, now you go for it. Okay.
That's crazy.
Plusing Sorin first. Crazy. Okay, fair enough.
Sure, that's fine. Just make sure you don't get anything better.
Right.
Like another Abrade or something. Bugbear's not bad.
Yeah, Bugbear's fine.
Yeah.
It adds to the board, and more importantly, you don't lose any life to draw it off Sorin, so that's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm Sky, I'm still sacrificing that to the Oni Called Anvil.
All day.
Oh, well, they can do that. Yeah.
You can do it either way, I guess.
Either way,
right?
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Drawn land, that's not what you want to see.
And then, okay. So that was a hell of a top deck for MagicBeard.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's also worth noting, Sky's down to 6 minutes. Under 6 minutes.
Yes, that is relevant.
And I'm curious to see where MagicBeard's at, but I guess it's not under 9 because it would start ticking if it were. So it's okay. Voldaren's great.
Yep.
How much can we do here? We can crack the blood token. Now, Sanguine Brushstroke doesn't give us the extra, so that's unfortunate.
Right.
But, ooh.
Connoisseur, that's a great card. But yeah, there's the land in hand, sure. But there's another blood token that the Anvil can sack, so that's meaningful.
I think I'm also swinging at Sorin here.
Okay.
So that if you want to make another vampire, Sorin's got to go.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, the difference between 3 loyalty Sorin and 2 loyalty Sorin is a big deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That check for traps is not good. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah.
More land. Oof, ouch.
Okay. And now check for traps is like, do I even want
to? Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you don't have any choices.
Look at your hand?
Yeah.
Well, can you elect not to exile it?
I don't think so. Let me double check.
Okay. So it's like you just, whatever's there, you have to.
Let me check the wording on that, because that's a very good question.
Because I think if I can, I'm just casting it, but.
Sure. I mean, your opponent has, I mean, resource denial is kind of what the deck's trying to do. So,
yeah.
Getting rid of that. Okay, so target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. Yeah, it's not a may.
It's you choose. It's not you may. Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Exile that card if this or sorcery. Yeah, or a card with flash. This way they lose 1 life. Otherwise, you lose 1 life. Yeah.
Oh, it's just so
it's risky.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's definitely risky.
Now that's a decision that'll get you under 9 minutes.
Yes. Absolutely.
That'll get it going. Opts to swing with the Bugbear? But why?
Are they not swing with the vampires? Wow, interesting choice. Okay. Now, I understand the City Talk Connoisseur is a problem. That's something you got to worry about. But I think the life gain on the vampires is just big enough. I mean, you swing with at least one of them, in my opinion.
So I'm blocking with the 1/1 there, and I'm probably going to block with Voldaren as well. And then I'm going to use Anvil to sack the tapped artifact. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. I mean?
So that way they lose 2 life there, and then another life whenever I do that. And then I think you can go 1 more artifact, and then I don't know. You're very close to lethal if you do it that way.
Right.
I mean, but this is 2 right here, and you gain 1, and you did deal with their. This is pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if I'm Sky, I'm more worried about the timer than I am about the board state, because a couple of good Some top decks would be nice, but even then, with the blood token there, they can filter their
Yeah.
hand a little bit. They'll be fine.
I'm loving a meat hook right now from
Oh,
Sky.
yes, that would be brutal.
All right, so that's 2 damage on the end step. So what he did, I think MagicBeard forgot that you could do that on their turn,
Yeah,
or just forgot that it might be 2 damage.
maybe.
But
Yeah, but there we go. You know,
yeah.
that kind of stuff was pretty sweet, and so I was very grateful to get back into it in such a, such an environment. It was really cool, and it was right around when Arena dropped, so I was able to dive into that too, and
That's just such perfect timing.
it all worked out nicely.
I'm
And
jealous.
then I started a Twitch channel, and I'm not looking back. So here we are. It's all about
There it
Magic
is,
all day.
man.
Yeah,
Living the dream now.
right.
And with what I remember was they had that Magic 2015 M2015 game.
Mhm.
You get it on your PlayStation.
Oh, that's right. Was that
Where
the
you,
Duels of the
like-
Planeswalkers, or
Yeah,
was
you
that
had to
something
like
else?
beat the Planeswalkers.
Yeah,
And you could only play them and you couldn't play other people. And there are only so many cards. And I was like, this is fun, but it like stops. You hit a wall where you can't do
Right.
anything else. You know what
yeah.
I
There's
mean?
the depth's
And
not
I was
there.
like,
Yeah,
I was like, what if I could play all of the cards? And then I didn't hear about Arena until it was, I don't want to say too late, but wish I would have heard about it sooner.
yeah. I wish I had invested in my collection sooner, because I've had to kind of go back and spend a little bit more money than I'd like
Go
to
back
admit to
in,
flesh
yeah.
out my historic collection, and it's
Yeah.
it's expensive. It is. There's no question about it.
Something that was helpful to me that I appreciated was that Dominaria draft.
Oh yeah.
Last
So
week.
when they do drafts of old sets, that's fantastic.
That was great for me. I got a lot of actually. I was okay. I went 5-3 in the draft. I'm not a big
Hey,
draft.
nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
But it was a good draft, and I got a bunch of packs
nice.
that what I mean. I didn't have to actually spend any money because I
That's
had a
fantastic.
draft token. You know what I mean? So it was good.
Awesome. Well, our game is underway here, and we've got both decks. So this is our finals. The winner of this match is going to be taking home the being ensconced in our Pizza Hall of Fame, and will be immortalized as the victor. And so we've got both decks doing exactly what they want to do, with
Yeah.
the mono green deck doing Werewolf Pack Leader into Old Growth Troll,
Ooh.
and the Rakdos deck doing Oni Called Anvil into Sanguine Brushstroke. These are textbook stars from both of these decks.
Pretty good turn 2, turn 3s, yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah,
do
they're
you
both
go
curving out
for
exactly
the for the Jukai here.
Um,
Take the pack leader and hit your land drop. I think you do.
I think you do too.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And you're still holding Snakeskin back for now, just in case
I
of
like it.
shenanigans. Although actually they're tapped out, so I don't know what shenanigans there could be.
Okay, that's fine.
Layer
That's
of the
good.
Hydra unfortunately comes in tapped, so you can't play out the pack leader again. But again, holding up Snakeskin, so could be worse. Next turn, that's an even old oddity, or if they hit a land, that's an Invoke the Ancients. I mean,
Kick the inscription. Take your pick.
yeah, or kick the inscription. Yep, you got options here.
And it's really key here that Vrym is on the play, being the aggro deck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's huge. And we're seeing it come into play here because, again, Sky's able to create the board state that they ultimately want, and it may not be enough to deal with this onslaught that Vrym is mobilizing here.
I'll have to look at Sky's list, but like they're gonna need some voltage surges pretty soon.
Yes, those would be big time.
Voltage surge. Do they run? They have a Blood Chief, decent, and then one Infernal Grasp, which I think these decks need more than that. I think, well, at least against mono green you do.
Against mono green you sure do. Yeah.
I don't know how much all these guys expected to see as much mono green as they did.
I know I didn't, so I wouldn't be surprised if the competitors weren't quite ready for it either.
I expected more control. I mean, we saw the Esper. I didn't see much Orzhov.
No,
obviously a lot of
kind of
Rakdos.
surprising. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little hurt, but I think Orzhov has a better place in Standard right now.
Oh yeah, Orzhov in Standard is very strong, no question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here comes the Anvil doing his thing. That's the crazy thing when you're going up against these sack decks, because you can have a preferable attack and feel great, and then they line their blocks up just right, sacrifice things just right, and then in the exchange, you're the one who loses life, and they're doing fine. So what happened?
Yeah. That's a really good point.
It happens. We've all been there, right? It's like, wait, so I attack you. You lose a couple small creatures you don't care about, and I take 3, and your life total doesn't change. Like, what just happened?
Yeah. The Blood Artist mitigates it a little bit, but it usually still feels bad.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
What's interesting here is if you just look at how the board is, it looks like Sky has enough to do a meat hook if they have a land and the meat hook.
Yeah,
but
that could be
that Snakeskin Veil for
that
the
goes
troll.
a long way. Well, there's the land.
There's the land. Now, do they have the meat hook? There's 3 in the deck, none in the sideboard.
Just holding my breath here, just waiting for that meat hook.
You're like, is this priority from the lair? Or
yeah.
What is it from?
There's a consideration. There are 3 cards in hand. What are they? Come on, Sky, show us. What are they? One of them is Experimental Synthesizer. That's pretty good.
Okay.
And it rips a Blood Chief Stirts. That's a pretty good hit.
And now you're in a really good spot if you're Vrym, because you're looking at, okay, well, that's good.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yep.
It's nice to use that on the pack leader and only spend the 1 mana so you can still do something with the rest of your turn. You know what I mean? Yeah. Otherwise, you're spending 4, and then that Snakeskin just feels so bad.
For sure.
Now you're hitting the Ancients, and that's solid.
Yeah, that's a good hit, for sure.
Yeah. And then you get your Death Touch creature out. You feel like you stabilized a little bit, but I mean, having 2 oddities and Inscription in hand, that hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, that sure does. Yep. So Vryn just jams here, and
I think
Beside You, that's a great hit.
And then notably, no mana to tap to sack blood tokens in response if they do Boseiju the Brushstroke.
Right.
Does the Boseiju hit artifacts too?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so I guess kind of a tough choice. I think I might hit the Anvil.
Yeah, I'd probably go after the Anvil because the Anvil could also be used to sacrifice the blood tokens.
Yeah.
And that does trigger the Sanguine Brushstroke. So yeah, I think the Anvil is the bigger threat there.
I definitely agree. Because that's kind of like their main engine of the deck. Yeah, Brushstroke is great, but it's kind of like an added bonus that you want to have the Anvil and the Brushstroke at the same time.
Going after the Blood Artist here before combat damage.
I like it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Things are going to die, so it's a good idea. Oh, they sacked that artifact to get the value now. Okay, sure. I like it. Down to 7 and still hasn't played either of those oddities yet.
Okay.
Whew. And you're looking at being far outpaced. Ooh. Oh, that was a misplay.
Yep.
Unless you wanted. Oh, they didn't even choose the Okay, yeah, that was a misplay.
That's what that looked like.
I was gonna say you could do it and choose the untapped one to you know what I mean, make it look like you have a safekeeping or
bluff a 1-drop.
But I think and I don't blame them. I can't tell you how many times I've done it. I'm to the point where with those legendary lands, I run 1 so that I stop myself from making that mistake. I don't run more than 1 of each of those at this point.
No, exactly.
I don't do it. I've screwed up too many times.
No, I've done that too. I've absolutely done that. And the one that I'll do is I play a lot of Reanimator decks or like graveyard focus decks, and so I run the black one quite a bit. Takanuma, the Abandoned Mire.
Yeah,
and so I'll run three of those in my deck.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, no, I can't tell you how many times I've done that exact same play where it's just like, well, play out a land. Wait, no. Yeah, we've all been there. It happens. What we're referring to there is the land is legendary, therefore you have to sacrifice one of them if you have multiple copies on the field. So you're only allowed to have 1 at a time.
So if anybody was wondering why he had to get rid of one of those lands whenever he dropped it from his hand, it's because he had another Boseiju out.
Yeah.
And then he went further and did not choose to keep the one that was tapped or untapped, which is why we concluded it was likely a misplay.
Yes. Yeah, because you can take advantage of the legendary rule, or at least work around it intentionally in situations where, say, you have landfall triggers or that kind of thing. I've done that. I've intentionally played out a Beside You in a deck that has landfall triggers, knowing that I'm going to have to sacrifice one of them. It's not ideal, but sometimes you just need to get the triggers. So it's what you do.
It's what you got.
Yep. And sometimes that's what you got to do. But in this situation, I don't think that was an intentional play. That said, Vrym is still doing just fine here.
Yeah,
Sky's at 8, and that's a lot of trampling damage coming through.
And Sky has 2 brushstrokes out, and Vrym's like, I don't care.
Right.
He's like, I got a Boseiju in the graveyard, and I didn't take one out the first time, and I still don't care.
Well, so maybe that was Vrym's plan all along. Maybe it was just a flex to show, like, you know what? Here, I'm just gonna throw this card away. That's right. What you gonna do now? I don't even need it. That's
big power move there.
Exactly, power move. That's exactly what that was. Yeah.
So bringing in the Froghemoth, I think Vrym just wants to go full on trample your face off. I know that my creatures are bigger than your creatures, and you can't do anything about that. And I'm going to outpace your meat hook. And I'm going to leave you with so many threats that you're just going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're exactly right. In this matchup, that's what you got to do, because the Rakdos deck has a lot of chump blockers, which is great, but it's terrible against trample. So I think trample is going to be the key word that's if Vrym is gonna ride or die on that trample. Like, it's gonna be you live or die by the trample in this case, in this matchup.
You got to hit all 4 City Stalkers here and hope that you still don't die to the trample,
Right, exactly. Yeah, City Stalker is going to be big time for Sky.
I get that it might not be viable in the Rakdos Anvil deck, but I have a Rakdos deck that goes a little bit more mid-range in Alchemy, and I started running Shadow's Verdict in it for decks like the mono green, and then I have my spot removal for like the Oddity and things like that.
Nice,
because then we don't get a death trigger on the troll. I don't care if I blow my creatures up that are 3-drop and lower, because yours are bigger than mine anyway.
Right. You're gonna run over all my stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna have, okay, I might miss a couple Blood Artist pings or something like that, but okay, it's worth it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then I keep my City Stalker, and you know what I mean, things like that.
Yeah, Shadow's Verdict is a great call. That's a card that doesn't see a lot of action, but it exiles cards from the graveyard. It hits, it wrecks the mono green deck in a lot of situations, or at least hits them pretty hard. And it also hits the mono white deck pretty hard too.
Yeah, and mono white, so that's almost like your Divine Purge that you can even run in standard for most people. So that's effective.
Yeah, I like it.
And if you're not running white and you're playing Alchemy, that's kind of your option, so.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
A pretty good start from Sky.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, double Epicures. Nothing wrong with that. Here comes the Tenacious Pup.
And then Vrym's going to, the tap lands don't feel the greatest, but you do set up a 5/5 troll on turn 3.
Yeah, exactly. He stumbled a little bit at the start, but drawing lands here, which is pretty fantastic. Sitting on double Uvenwald and Invoke the Ancients. I mean, you want to get to them. And holding the pup back to block, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, 5/5 Vigilant Old Growth Troll, I'll take it. That's not bad.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. And this actually, so we are in game 2 of the final match in the Slice of Alchemy tournament for today. Exciting stuff. This is awesome. And I love this too, because our first game was an interesting game. There was no mana screw, no mana flood. And here we've got a setup where both players are setting up and doing what they want to do. And it's going to be a question of who can get the most value fast enough to close this thing out. And I gotta say, while Sky over there is doing a lot of stuff and establishing a lot of cool pieces that can be pretty devastating later in the game, I'm looking at Vrym's board, and that's just a big honking troll. And then we got an
It is.
overall oddity coming down this turn. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a big attack.
And this is where, you know, you're well outpacing a meat hook. I guess theoretically one more land and you're able to take a meat hook and you're able to take out the oddity. We didn't even see the meat hook last game from Sky though, and that was pretty rough. Okay,
Ooh,
Voltage Surge
Voltage
is
Surge.
decent.
That's good.
That's solid. That's solid.
Yeah. No question about it.
It's just, I mean, I guess maybe if you get a City Stalker, the City Stalker can deal with the troll, but
yeah, but I mean that's what it takes. Yeah,
yeah, and you're still taking damage, and then they're still getting another troll, so it's tough.
Yeah. You know, and there was that huge attack, and at the end of the day, Sky only took 3 damage. I mean, or was that 4? I mean, at the end, not as much as you would have thought. Oh, and here comes a second Voltage Surge. I was wondering what the block with the Volcanic Epic here seemed like. It was like, oh, you get a Blood Artist trigger and prevent 1 damage. Okay, that's fine, I guess. But the Voltage Surge follow-up was fantastic.
Yeah, that was legit. That was legit.
Yeah, it's exactly what they needed to do. And so at this point, I mean, we were looking at an Overall Oddity and a 5/5 Overgrowth Troll, and now we're looking at a Tenacious Pup. That board looks a lot less threatening now. And here we have Deadly Dispute, drawing more cards. You'll love to see it.
Hit your land drop. Another Brushstroke, because why not?
Man.
Now you do have to look at, you know, down to 2 cards in hand when you want to be the one who has card advantage. So it's not the greatest situation for who has more cards, and you know what I mean? But you're in a good spot with 2 Blood Artists. Getting the Ancients out, obviously, that's a little rough.
And you got the trample. I'm telling you, it's all about the trample here in this matchup. Yeah.
It really is. It really is. I think every time we've seen it cast, at least since you and I've been on, I think the players have chosen trample every time.
You know, it's been trample or vigilance.
Or vigilance, that's what
in
it
the
was.
mirror,
Yeah,
it was vigilance quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Well, and when you're going up against, you know, other spirit tokens or 4/4, 5/5 creatures, you know, vigilance is a little.
You don't
more
want to be
valuable.
tapped out.
Right. Yeah, but in this situation, where
this
little 1 toughness blockers. Oh yeah, let's trample over those.
Yeah. Because now this is actually Anvil's going to gain you some life, but it's like we're working towards being a 2-turn clock here.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about an oddity coming down.
Absolutely. I mean, Anvil's great. It can do a lot of things. But I mean, we've been talking about how good Vryn's attacks have been, but at the end of the day, right now,
they are down to 8.
They're down to 8. Exactly. They're down to 8 life.
Yeah.
And Sky's sitting pretty at 19. I mean,
and I think that's part of it is like you're looking at, oh man, I'm doing all these damage with these creatures, and then you look up at your life total and you're like, I'm at 8.
Wait, what? Yeah, exactly.
When did that happen? When do we get ice cream?
Right. That's exactly what's going on here.
Safekeeping will give you 2 life. Not the greatest, but it's something.
I gotta be honest, I forget about the life gain on Tamiyo safekeeping a lot because it is pretty incidental, but it could be big here.
It helps. I've seen it make a big difference. I've seen it, you know, the creature doesn't even need hexproof or indestructible, but you just needed to gain 2 life. And even if that just gains you 2 life, a 1 mana 2 life spell isn't actually that bad.
No, it's true.
You know, the third Voltage Surge.
Here's where the safekeeping comes in. Yep. Perfect.
Solid.
So you do get the 2 life, but you also get to protect your oddity. So fantastic.
So we're looking at, if you don't have a meat hook here, that's it.
Yeah. That's a lot of pain that's coming down from your opponent.
And they have enough mana for it, but if they don't have the meat hook, GG's.
Yeah, I think you're right. And with this being game 2 and Vrym having taken down game 1, that would be the end of the match, and Vrym would be the champion for today. So let's see. Does Sky have a way out of this?
And notably, if they did have a meat hook, that would actually win the game on their end too.
Oh, man, it's so
because
crazy.
of the Blood Artist triggers.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not looking good, however, at this point. But there's still 1 card in hand.
I don't think they have it. I don't think they would have sacked that treasure token if they had it.
Right.
Because now you don't hit the Ancients. I mean, you don't need to, but I don't think they have it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that's unfortunate. You don't draw a meat hook in either game.
Yeah, Master's
Makes
Rebuke, that's just gravy. Yeah.
Yeah, makes you regret not putting one more in the sideboard.
Right. I know a lot of time in my black decks, I end up running just 4 meat hooks because I can't tell you how many times I've been like, okay, I just need a meat hook off the top. You know, it's
best of 1, 4 meat hooks. Best
Totally.
of 3 in the main, 1 in the side.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yep, absolutely.
It doesn't matter if it's legendary because you're gonna need multiple anyway.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So Sky is looking for. There might be. I mean, I'm hesitant to just call it because they're doing some math.
Yeah.
They must have an instant speed
Yeah.
something in their hand.
Definitely.
It's just a question of what, you know. Is it the Infernal Grasp? Are we looking at?
You definitely a braid. Gain 2 life. They're actually not dead, but you Master's Rebuke one of the Blood Artists. Yes, that is a good move.
That makes sense.
But then I don't know. Is it because that's 2 life, and then the Abrade is 1 more.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, you get rid of it, but you do actually give him an extra life, but it's 1 less blocker with 12 trample damage coming across.
Goodness.
So that's a thing. They could actually not block here.
Yeah.
Which is silly.
Right.
But they could choose not to block if they wanted to. And I think Sky knows better and is worried about, I mean, literally it could be 2 Snakeskin Veils and that would do it.
Right.
So I think you do have to block, but yeah. So that's going to be, they're actually going to be at 5 with the Blood Artist triggers. Oh, and Vrym is down to 2.
Yeah, this whole time Vrym has just been getting poked. And I mean, so
there's a hive. There's a hive. Just animate the hive.
You're right. I didn't see that. That is a great call. Here I was thinking like, oh, they need to draw some kind of artifact. I was like, no, they just have the hive.
Yeah, or you like, I mean, a Voldaren Epicure would do it too, or that.
That works too.
That works.
Yep.
That works. Yep. Just tap the Oni. Wow.
That was a heck.
I told you, Sky.
Yeah.
Man. I told you.
You could never count Sky out apparently. My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was fantastic. I mean, it was funny too because here I am looking at it and it's like, well, Vrym is doing exactly what they want to do. It's they're setting up a great game plan. They're setting up these really sweet attacks. They've got all the trample. Like they're getting in for tons of damage. Meanwhile, Sky over there was taking a fair amount of damage, but also gaining a ton of life off those pings. Yeah. And so the whole time they were just kind of just chipping away, just whittling away at Vrym's life total. And it got him the win the whole time.
That was really something.
That was impressive to watch.
I wonder if and that's where I say the Master's Rebuke. Was that worth it at the end of the day?
I don't know.
You didn't kill him anyway, and you used 2 mana. You had the mana open at the end. You needed 1 more mana to be able to cast the Troll and your Pack Leader, which would have given you 2 blockers for the hive.
Right. Yeah, but that might have been the better line. It's tough to say.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If you look at what's on the board, you have to worry about that.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? You're leaving Blood Artist on the board when you attack. You know that you're going to lose life when you attack.
Sure. Yeah, it's just part of the deal.
So in a sense, you kind of really have to worry about that hive. So I think it's interesting. Interesting sequencing. It's a math is for blockers, you know.
Sure.
Turn them sideways, and you know, there you go. But yeah, good start for Vrym though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, both these players are doing some phenomenal work, and we're into game 3. I love watching a finals go to a game 3. It's always fun.
I'm having a great time right now.
Right? This is the best. Yeah.
I love basketball, and this is like as good as playoff basketball for me.
Nice.
This is awesome. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Like we're in like overtime playoff basketball. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
got that vibe to it, doesn't it? Ooh, Besijo. All right. That's an overall oddity on turn 3. All right, nothing wrong with that.
Why not? Yeah. They have 4 mana, you have 2 mana and an oddity, and then they have an oddity that doesn't feel the greatest.
No, that's not where you want to be.
you're not too behind on life, but I mean, you got to take out that oddity. And if they top deck
Right.
another land, then you're talking about, I have 3 lands out if I play a land this turn, and then they have 2/4/5s. And where does that leave you?
Yeah, it's definitely not where you want to be. Actually, now I'm curious about the wording on Tenacious Pup. It's a creature spell, right? Yes, it's the next creature
Mhm.
spell. Okay. It's not when a creature
Mhm.
enters the battlefield. I was just wanting to double
Right.
check
So
on that because that makes a big difference.
that's
Yeah.
where, whenever that became a thing, people were saying, hey, when you play your Ranger class on turn 2, that 2/2 doesn't get all the benefits. You got to
Right.
cast another creature if you want to benefit from it. There's the Voltage Surge.
Nice.
That sounds great.
Yep. Exactly what they needed.
And then you top deck a safekeeping.
Right. So now,
That
yeah.
feels bad. But you do protect your Werewolf, which, if Sky has another Voltage Surge, you counter that very effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. So, not ideal. You'd rather the oddity still be around, but this could be a lot worse. Yeah. And hopefully there's a land coming up for the Invoke the Ancients, because those 4/5s, I mean, those are some big bodies on the board. And
Yeah.
getting 2 really sizable bodies for 5 is pretty fantastic. All right.
Looks like Vrym is getting some love in the chat. He has some fans in the chat.
Oh, fantastic.
Cheering him
Love
on in
it.
Spanish. Respect.
Absolutely fantastic. Oh, and of course, a huge thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you all for showing up and
Absolutely.
hanging out. We love you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
That's
you guys are
absolutely
awesome.
fantastic.
You guys, also 69 viewers in chat right now. Nice.
Nice.
All 69 of you right now. It's fluctuated throughout the day, but you guys also keep this going.
Totally.
Just as much, if not more, than everything else that goes into it. So you guys are great.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we wouldn't be doing this without all of you. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah, so the Werewolf Pack leader getting in for some damage. This guy's now down to 12. Double Bloodarian Epicure is nice, but you really need a follow-up to make those worthwhile.
Yeah. Doing the Epicure and not being able to go into Anvil, it's kind of rough.
Yeah, that hurts.
Kind of rough. Brushstroke's good. Is that other land on black?
I believe it is.
Okay.
Yeah, the Forsaken Crossroads, I do believe they name black.
Okay.
There it is. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Good.
Not bad. So you get your Drain Engine online. That helps.
Yep. That's something. So now
got a ways to go, but
yeah, exactly. Got a long way to go. But then now those Voldaren Epicures can soak up a little bit of damage, get some Blood Artist pings. Yeah. Not out of this yet. Although that Inscription of Abundance is looking pretty good as a way to answer that Blood Artist.
Yeah, agreed.
They're 1 mana shy from being able to kick it, which is a little unfortunate, but
just fight the artist now. Okay.
Just get rid of it while you've got the
I think Vrym realized how much that taxed last turn or last game, and just like and that's where I'm saying you got to look at it. When do I deal with this? And I think it's a good time is when you still have 17 life. I think that's a good time to deal with
That is a great time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's deal with it before it pings me like 6 times. That's great. Let's do that.
Yeah. Or also before they get 2 of them out and start doing stuff,
Right. Oh my goodness.
That'll really
nasty.
start to
Yeah.
So now you're looking at up to maybe 6 available mana for Sky next turn, but 12 trample damage represented. Looking pretty grim.
Yeah. Well, and even and I mean, I'm just doing the meat hook math here. We're looking at 3, so that's nowhere near. I mean, if they hit their land drop, we're looking at 4. So that's
So there's a City Stalker.
Connoisseur is nice. Yeah,
it's something. So they do
that.
that.
You just hit Tamus Safe.
Oh, because you're gonna lose it anyway.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, and is there a land? No, there's not.
No land. But okay.
Bloodchief's Thirst. Nice. It's actually nice that. Oh man, it's nice that you hit the Bloodchief's Thirst on one of those tokens. Very easy removal for a very strong creature.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if it's quite lethal, but it's pretty darn close.
Yeah, the attack all here is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think
Epicurious.
Sky missing that land drop is going to just about, what is that, 7-8 damage you're taking?
Yep,
Three
and they're
from
no.
each. Yeah,
Yeah.
3, 7, 8. Yeah, 3, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So you get
Ouch.
under 1, and then you're like, man, do they have a snake skin? Because that would just be
Right.
lethal,
Yeah, that'd be rough.
But you literally don't have another play.
Right, it's just is what it is.
Yeah.
This guy's flashing the good game already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Now,
not looking good.
notably, I don't know why he's saying oops.
Not sure. I don't know if cracking the synthesizer turn earlier might have been good, or I'm not sure. I'm not seeing it. I don't see the mistake there. Yeah.
Did he like forget to play a land last turn or something?
Yeah,
and he
was
had
it?
the meat hook. That would feel so bad.
Oh, that'd be brutal.
Oh my god, I would be hurting.
Right?
But then, okay, even if you do meat hook, would you gain 4 life? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You go right back down to 1,
Right?
because of the lair. So, and then you got 2 layers to deal with. Okay, so yeah, there is no meat hook. Oh, there was the meat hook.
There was the
You
meat
showed
hook.
it to him. He showed it to him.
Oh
my goodness,
man.
bro.
Ouch.
That missed land drop. That's what did it. He just showed him everything
That
he
did
had.
it.
No,
Yeah, exactly. Showing him.
yeah.
Yep, I had
Just
it, but
letting
I
him
didn't
know.
have the mana.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's rough, man.
Those are some great games. Congrats, Vrym, for taking it down with Mono Green Aggro. Thanks as well to Numbskull and HamHawks42 for the fantastic commentary. And thank you for watching the whole video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget, we have an event this Sunday, Set Championship Qualifier. It's going to be a link down below in the description. And as always, stay cheesy.